Good morning, good evening, how are we? And if you want to work on football, keep watching this video. We're going to go over some roles you may not known even existed. So, number one, player care officer. This is what I've done at Portsmouth. So, player care looks different at every club, but essentially about putting the person before the player, right? Say Man City sign a 21-year-old Brazilian wonder kid, right? From Brazil. He comes over to the UK. He has no idea how to open a bank account. He has no idea where to send his kids to school. He's got to keep his missus happy. Then, his missus, she wants the kids sorted. She wants the car sorted. They need their accommodation sorted. Maybe he doesn't even know how to open a UK bank account. Player care at first team level will deal with all of these sort of activities, logistics, operational activities, and sort it out for the player so that he can just focus on playing. The objectives that he can focus on performance, focus on playing. Everything else is sorted for him, and that should improve performance. Now, there's a few different types of player care, to be honest with you. There's academy player care, girls and boys. There's women's and men's, and they all look very different. Women's is similar to men's, but obviously because the majority of women aren't on as much money as the men, it could be a little bit more about preparing players for when they retire. Some of these players may be on, I think it was widely reported that a certain professional club was paying their players like £19,000-20,000 a year, roughly. So these players will need second careers. They're not on 200 grand a week. So it's about preparing them for, their second career, looking at other career pathways. Men's will be, like I say, more operational. Now, they are doing that a little bit now, more with men's in terms of financial literacy and preparing them for when they retire and looking at different pathways. And there's lots of agencies that do this now. But it's more, like I say, the operational, sorting houses, sorting accommodation. Everyone seems to think player cares, will pay a player's parking ticket, sort the fire alarms out, that type of stuff. But it could be anything. A lot of these player care professionals for first team are on call 24/7, or maybe they've got two different people who alternate. So say a player needs something at 2 o'clock in the morning, then they know who to call. And like I say, it's mainly so that they can focus on performance. But there's so much about player care. I strongly suggest you research it. Look at the player care group, great company, a good friend of mine, Hugo Schechter, so check that out. And then academy player care is all about, again, preparing players for when they leave the academy, whether that's being released or whether that's to become a professional. So there's a stat 1 in 322 players leave an academy every year. I've done my dissertation on academy player care, and a lot of it is about preparing these players, life skill sessions, looking at different pathways for these young lads. What else can they do? So again, I don't want to talk about player care too much because we have got other jobs to discuss, but an unbelievable role, and I strongly suggest you check it out. And those are the salaries roughly. I mean, that's could start from just a player care officer to a head of player care at from League 2 all the way to Premier League. Again, you can pause this video, you can read the job description. Again, just look online for job descriptions. There's loads of them on there. The next one is first team operations. Now, you may not know that this role exists. Football operations is about looking after the travel, looking after the accommodation, training facilities, media, managing budgets. Say, for example, Liverpool have a Champions League campaign, and but maybe they're flying to Paris and they're flying to Russia. The operations will sort all the travel, the transport, which is so important, making sure the team's on time, making sure the schedule is kept to, that type of stuff. That is operations. It could also be looking at match day prep, hospitalities, referees, travel, kit colours, ticket requests, that type of stuff. Again, this also happens at academy level 2, where again they'll be dealing with the referees, the venue, that type of stuff. Very exciting role. Myself, I'm interested in operations. Fantastic role. So in terms of some skills needed, I'd probably say organisation, communication, and a high attention to detail. The next one is social media. Now, running of a club's social media to increase brand awareness and engagement. Now, these are common, but I imagine that you weren't aware that players will have individuals run their own social media accounts. I heard a stat the other day, I don't know how true it is, at one of our networking events. 80% of players don't run their social medias now. I'd probably agree with that and say it's true. For example, look at this lovely, clean, profile of Phil Foden. He has 12 million followers. He's representing the FA. He's representing Man City. I doubt he even touches his social media. The comments are awful nowadays. You have all these idiots commenting all sorts on players, profiles when it comes to hate and whatever it is. So I doubt he even goes on there. But that is another role available in football. Other roles include content creation, email marketing, photographer, and digital content executive. But look at those social media roles because they are really, really interesting. The next one is kit manager. So, I'm sure you've all heard of kit manager, but for me, well, I know this, it's more than just, washing kit and putting kit, doing laundry. Some clubs will even just have laundry assistants who do that. These are really demanding roles. I have a good friend of mine, Lee, who is the kit and equipment manager at Portsmouth. I have a good friend, Marvin, who is the kit manager at AFC Floyd. These are long days, these are really, really long days for these people. It's about driving the kit to away fixtures, distributing the training and match kit, sorting out the training sessions and equipment and all that type of stuff. So it's not just washing kit. Like I say, daily checks and that type of stuff. An unbelievable role. You're traveling with the team home and away. You get close to the staff and the players, but very, very, very demanding. Again, jobs in football, have a look online, have a look at some of those roles. Set piece coach. Now, I'm sure you would have heard about this in the last year or so. The Arsenal set piece coach has become a little bit of a name in the media, and very important role. Clubs look for tactical specialists responsible for maximising the team's performance at set pieces. Now, it's a role, like I say, that's been in the media a lot, full-time role, which is crazy, right? These people are watching set pieces all day. They're looking at potential routines. They're looking at other teams, what work for other teams. They're looking at the opposition, and then they compile a report and present it to the head coach. And then they work on this in training, probably on the Friday before the game or match day -1, and then they try and implement it during a match. So they were 5 roles you may not know existed. Follow us on LinkedIn if you want to work on football. Instagram, Work on Football UK. There's a link in the bio if you want to work with us one-to-one. We can help you work in football. Thank you for watching. I hope you find that very interesting, and I will talk to you all soon. Cheers.